thing?
No, like you seriously gonna let me lecture? Don't do this to me. I cannot. I'm going to help you.
When you think of lecture, what do you think? That word.
Well, what professors do.
Okay, exactly. That. Do you ever think of church? Maybe sometimes.
Yeah, that too. Preaching.
Preaching is like a lecture. It's like professors. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's the same concept, believe it or not. I know a preacher will get mad at me for saying that, but it is kind of the same concept. It's just you're speaking a truth on and different kind of knowledge, and in their sense, it's more, of course, on the Bible, and this one is more on the business situations, all the philosophy of business that you see.
Right.
So believe it or not, it is powerful. So thank you for seeing it as such. Some people are just like, I'm just gonna speak to anybody. But absolutely not. It is very powerful. Let's see. The other thing is that well, don't worry. I'm very good lead, as in I lead you into a conversation. So I gotta tell you, I'm very good at that. And most of the conversation you're gonna be speaking about will be something you're comfortable with, like TSA. Like TSA.
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about TSA, but we'll see, depending on what the questions are or what the conversation is. Because we deal with a lot of security information, and but like you said,
that is very true. So if you cannot say something,
if it's not something I'm comfortable with,
then don't say it. Not worth it. Not worth it. So I do agree with you. It's called what? OPSEC. Do you guys have that? OPSEC?
Yes.
There you go. It's a federal word. I know my words. I'm a military brat. I don't know if it's a TSA brat. Is that a thing?
So, are you a TSA what?
No, is a TSA brat a thing? Like a kid of a TSA person?
I don't know. Talking of OPSEC. Hold on. I recently got a letter from them.
Okay, so I'm setting up this. Okay, then that. We have this. All right. I don't know. I'm trying to get rid of the chat. Okay, I don't know if you guys are here. Can you guys hear me, guys, in the class? Or maybe live. We shall see.
I'm gonna have to copy the link.
That's okay. No problem. Let's see what they say. I'm trying to go. Yes, yes. Okay, good. So we're only a little bit delayed. Great. Anybody a basketball fan? Because we're doing this right in the middle of the championship game. Because education is not about colleges playing basketball. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go there. Right here. All right. So we got some people. Jennifer is trying to log back in. We have about 4. Let's see how many people we have now. We have 7 viewers. All right, 3 more. Here, good. I typed that link on my laptop. It's not working. Okay, Miss Fisher, I think what you have to do is just reload it or use a different browser. It'll just go straight into YouTube. That's all it is. Not a big deal. Okay, Norma's in. Perfect. Yes. Oh, we just have 6 viewers. I don't know how we dropped one. I'm here too. Okay. Seems like we have more viewers than there's there. You may have put it wrong part. Go to web. Yes. You can use WhatsApp web, which is what I'm using right now. And all it is you use your laptop. I don't suggest it. I suggest you use your phone for WhatsApp to respond, and you watch the video on your laptop. That's what I suggest. Clicking on the link instead. I know I'm using WhatsApp web, but that's because of the lecture. Sorry, I'm actually responding to them, Linda.
So, no, that's fine.
In fact, you can actually catch up with what they're saying right on your phone. But
I'm looking at it right here.
And let's see what else. Okay, I was able to get it. Okay, I think we're about to start. I think everybody, 10 viewers.
Catch up with what they're saying right on your phone.
Okay, let's see. Now I need to. Okay, so then not to echo. Okay. Google Professor Puente name in YouTube and it'll come up. I guess so. I didn't know you could just Google me and my videos come up. Multiple videos will show up because this is the way I do this. So today, guys, we have one of your own. Linda, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Your last name is Amoaco?
Amoaco, yes, that's
Amoaco.
correct.
Oh, wow. I had to use my Spanish very well to get there. And I think it worked. So perfectly. So let me tell you, can you tell us a little bit about you, Linda? No.
Now you about to put me on the spot.
Did I already get you in the...
I already did that on the school, on the day we introduced ourselves. They should know me. Go look
Yes.
at Linda.
Clearly, everybody should have actually read your file and everybody should know, including myself. But we didn't memorize it. I will tell you that. Oh, and another thing is we didn't have a quiz on that. I wasn't planning to put a quiz on people. I just wanted people to come up with questions because that makes you read through the files. And I think everybody read through them. Yay. So, but go ahead, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, that is like the hardest question to ask me because
Really?
then I don't know where to start.
I'll start with this. What do you do?
For profession, I currently work for TSA. I also work for United, and I work for AirServe Corporation. So I'm everywhere in the airport.
Oh, wow. So you could work for United and TSA at the same time?
Yes.
Oh, that's really good feature. It seems like a nice...
But I do it in different airports, so.
Ironically, that's funny. So you go from one airport to the other. So you go from...
It's not the same airport.
Oh, wow. That's not...
For, future reference. Usually it is not something that people can do.
I got it. But you're making it work. Good work. Good work. So for United, I guess that's something you could definitely kind of share with us sometimes, how United works and such. So we'll kind of go through the course on that. Guys, in the class, I'll tell you this. And people are saying, hi, Linda. Hi, Linda. And someone said, I'm lost, Miss Fisher. Hopefully we'll get you caught up. Worst case scenario, Ms. Fisher, remember, you can just go back on the replay of this immediately in that link. Because as soon as we shut off, it just creates a whole new video, that video that's recorded. So, all right, guys. So I'll tell you this. We'll go through the class. Give us your best comments. Believe it or not, the guest lecturer from last week will judge the best comments for your grade. So this week, Linda's going to be giving us the honors on the best comments next week. And that could be here. That could be on D2L. D2L may have, it's just D2L has to have 500 words. With you guys, it's more like a tweet. Give us a nice 140 character opinion that is well backed up, right? So let's start. We're going to do three chapters. So we're going to try to knock this out. Remember, we're not going to test on everything. However, do remember this. On each chapter, I'm going to ask 3 questions this time. 3 questions. Each chapter, 3 questions. They're going to be due tomorrow at noon. Okay? Please, no one say, I don't understand. The best thing to do is to, after this class, just do those questions. Don't try to go to sleep. Just do them. It doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long, I promise. Right now, my suggestion is pick the question as we speak. Okay? Pick the question as we speak. Okay? And we can go ahead and start. So chapter 3, and you can open your books. Do not use my page here as your book. This is a PowerPoint that's kind of connected to your book, but you can kind of glance through the book too as well. Okay. Learning outcomes. We're going to talk today about the world marketplace of Business Without Borders. It's funny you work with United. They do very well in the world, right? They're well known. And business opportunities. Let's go to that. Advances in technology and reduction of barriers to trade have made individual economies interdependent. Have you heard of that word before, interdependent?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Yes. Basically, they depend on each other.
Really? Okay. So what's the difference between interdependent, you think? Because that's actually a motivational speaker word, believe it or not. I want to be interdependent as opposed to dependent, right? Dependent just seems like you need it more than it needs you.
Well, I would say to be interdependent, like in as much as you're dependent on yourself, you're still gonna need assistance from somebody or from some other resource.
Perfect example. Great keyword, guys, because the two words that come out of that is independent, and that means that you could do everything on your own. And that's not as effective as dependent either. So it's like this is the synthesis. It puts these two together and say, be interdependent, right? So access, and let's keep going for reasons for international trade. Why trade internationally? I think that's one of the questions that we've been asking ourselves since the beginning of the election, right? Well, access to factors of production. Some things we just don't have in the United States. We absolutely don't. And it's hard to get. So we have to trade for us to get it. Reduce risk. There's some items that are really hard to pick up. A good example, cement. We get a lot of cement from Mexico because it's just it's really expensive, the labor to put together for us to get. So ironically, that wall needs to be made out of cement. And more than likely, would probably be made out of Mexican cement. So that's the truth. We need that material for us to create it. If we were to create the cement, it would cost us three to four times, probably, depending on that. Inflow of innovation. International trade is a source of new ideas of companies. You work for United. Do you ever hear any ideas coming from internationally, especially on the company?
Well, occasionally they brief us on the news that is happening as far as other airlines and how they are projected to their goals. So based on what is going on outside, we also articulate our goals in that direction, in that manner.
Oh, wow.
And we are encouraged to, better ourselves on that note.
That's very nice. You definitely work for a global company, and that company really sees out there what's going on with innovation, especially now. Exactly. Especially now with the things going on with laptops, right? Some companies are not allowed to use their laptops and their phones. And their phones in the airline, and you guys are learning how to adapt out of that.
We have actually the technology is massive as of this at this point. We are not using most of the traditional printers now.
Wow.
Everything is cell phone oriented or tablet oriented. You can pretty much print out boarding passes on the jetway compared to the traditional way of printing out boarding passes. So the technology has really advanced as far as
very good
that global
innovation
is concerned.
Did we speak about opportunity cost last chapter? I don't know if anybody remembers. Let me know, guys out there. But opportunity cost is real simple, and this should be part of this quiz. Okay, you could use this with everything. What could you be doing right now, Linda, instead of this class?
Sleeping, because I just got back from work. Or eating, relaxing, trying to do something else. But
exactly.
Here I am.
But instead, you're here. Do you realize how that's an opportunity cost for you? You're attempting to learn and becoming a great guest lecturer, right? And instead of sleeping and eating. So realize that the sleeping and eating is the opportunity cost. Right?
Correct.
If you decided
it's basically the second best choice.
Exactly. Second best choice.
The situation is.
So you gave up sleep, you gave up eating for this opportunity. That's all it's saying. So it's important for you to understand that, because I would say you're doing well because you kind of held back something that you could actually do later for something that is right now, that is very unique for right now. So that is important for people to figure that out, because when you're doing a business, sometimes what you're doing, it has a high opportunity cost. In your case right now, sleeping and eating is not as bad as if it was an actual job, or a job that requires you to be somewhere at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. and you'd rather be in a car. Do you see how that opportunity cost will be too high and you may have to do that instead?
Yes.
Exactly. So it's really important for you to understand that word. And a country has an absolute advantage when it can produce more of a good than another nation. In other words, we have an advantage, believe it or not, on wheat. The United States makes great wheat. It's hard for people to compete with us on wheat. It's a little bit of a shame because it's connected to beer. But guess what? No other country can beat us on wheat. Therefore, them making wheat would mean it costs them more, because we do it so in a mass scale and cheaper than they would. You see what I mean? So they just buy our stuff. So in other words, opportunity cost is something economists have to kind of figure out, because they only have so much time. They only have so much time to get. It's okay. So let's see some of those.
So I have, does the fact that United States produce more wheat make United States have an absolute advantage over the other countries?
Exactly, because
is that basically what it is?
Exactly, because we make so much wheat, but we don't make bananas.
Right.
So now we have to go get the bananas, probably from Ecuador, and we'll give them wheat for it. You see? Now, it's a great advantage, I'll tell you that, because the U.S. is banking on wheat, which is actually for beer, and a lot of countries drink beer. So I think that's pretty good. You know, not all the countries eat bananas. Kind of a big fruit, but, you know, it's not. I would think we would win there. You see? So, in other words, the U.S. has figured out that wheat is the best option for us to put our time on agriculturally. So we're becoming one of the hotbeds on wheat, by the way. Like even with hops and anything to do with beer, we're like great at it. It's so funny. So tools for meshing international trade, balance of trade. So how are we doing? How is the U.S. doing next to Mexico? Believe it or not, we're in a deficit. They're doing more than we are. So some people say that's not okay. Balance of payment. Hey, even Mexico, we owe more than we give it to it. So they're saying, you know what, not only do they make more, we also owe them more. So we're not doing well, is what people would say sometimes. The exchange rate. Mexico is like, listen, my peso, it's 1/20th of your dollar. That's what we do more. Because obviously you could pay less for our labor. And counter trade, you know, hey, I'll take your wheat so I can make some Coronas. And then, you know, they will give us their avocados. You see what I mean? So it's definitely important there. So this chapter is all about world trade, you know, what we do to what we do. Before this idea of economics, believe it or not, the country would make everything. Everything. It would just make everything. And some people thought that was great because we would depend on we were independent. We were not interdependent. And I'm a global guy. I like the global concept. So I think it's healthier the way it is. Because now that causes, to me, less conflict. Because we do need certain items. We need our toys to be manufactured in China. But yet, we'll send them our wheat. But yet, we'll send them our corn. You see? So there are things that and we'll take their rice. So we'll trade. You know, that trading helps these countries have a real good setup. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Anyone? Okay, so China has an absolute advantage with like technology. Brianna, that used to not be the case. They had an advantage on product, but now they do have technology overall. Okay. Right. I could be working on my business plan, said Brianna. Oh, yeah, you could. That's right. But you can learn business for your business plan. So that's pretty good. I got to say, some countries don't produce good soil to harvest like the United States. So we have an advantage. Yes, that is very true. Some countries have very little soil. I mean, especially in the islands. The islands, like in Puerto Rico or Jamaica, their soil is very small because they're islands. So they're not able to make as much. But that also goes back to demand and supply. Yes, Micah. That is definitely part of chapter 2, which was supply and demand. Interdependence is definitely more beneficial. And that's a good opinion. Some people don't think that. Some people think, well, I'd rather California make all the avocados and Texas make all the beef. And then we can just interdependent upon the United States.
Right.
But that's not interdependent. That's mean independent, right? But then it goes to, okay, well, the Californian do those avocados for $1 an hour or for $50 an hour because it's very hot. So then the avocado will be really expensive, like probably about $30 an avocado. So, I mean, there you go. So it just depends on who could do it best because of the opportunity cost. So foreign licensing, another good question. So let's say you have a product, Linda, something that you created, only you. What would be a good product that you say, an application, let's say, an app, right? If you have this app and you make it in the United States, you can patent it, okay? But what happens if that app gets copied in China? Are you protected?
No. That means you didn't have any copyright protections over it. So,
okay. So you would get one in China. You would absolutely get one in China. In fact, Europe, you can get one in Europe for just yourself. You can get one in Mexico, But see, the more investment you have to put, the more protection you have. It just takes more, right? So that's foreign licensing. Foreign licensing means that you have an authority over that body, the body of country for that product. So what would you do if you have 5 countries to choose for an application?
I would definitely consider countries that are more technologized.
Okay.
Countries that will be actually using my applications to
Of course.
to basically, give me the output that I'm looking at, or I've projected my application to satisfy. Yeah. So I'll be looking at technologized countries, basically.
And you realize you're doing opportunity cost, because you're like, okay, who has Apple and Android heavy use? Okay.
Right.
Because there's some countries that may not even be interested in that. And on top of that, what is the app about? Is the app like an Uber app? Because in Netherlands, they use a lot of bikes, and it's very tight, so they don't really need Uber. They can just get on a bike. So you won't invest in that. So
basically you'll be projecting it to a country that has the need for that application.
Exactly. You're doing opportunity cost all over again, because you'll give up one for another. China will be an entire country, 1 billion people using your app and being protected. So I would say China's a given. The US, because you're here in the United States. But another thing people don't know is that sometimes NAFTA protects you too, because if it's patented in the United States, it may be patented in Mexico and Canada along with it. So sometimes that gives you, the free trade agreements does give you some protection too. So that's important for us to understand. Then you have strategies for reaching global markets. You have joint ventures. Maybe you can make a joint ventureship with a company in China and not have to buy a patent. You just or they already have theirs, and you can combine yours in the US and you're fine. And in an alliance. What's the difference between a partnership and an alliance, you think, Linda?
A partnership is stronger than an alliance.
Okay. Oh, that's true. Let me tell you, I asked you this because United is part of an alliance. You hear all the time.
What is
What
it? The United Alliance, because basically you can fly on other airlines.
Exactly.
That it's partnership with United.
Exactly. And actually, let me just say something. It's not partner, it's alliance. Alliance means that these companies are not one. They're just together working for a cause.
Or common goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Partnership means that they're one. United Continental is one. That's a partnership. So that's definitely one. And now, obviously, Continental is not even there. It's just actually
not
one.
Anymore. It's just one.
It's just one.
It doesn't exist anymore.
So it's more than just a partnership. It's like a one ship. That's it. So, but truthfully, that's the difference between alliance and alliance is just an agreement. Absolutely just an agreement. So let's go over here. Are we supposed to? Partnership is more direct association between parties. That's right. Like people sell hair. That's a partnership. I didn't know that. People could sell hair. And that's a partnership. Maybe. I don't know about that one. Alliance is a group of companies benefiting one another. Yes. I knew about United One Group. I think it was called. Man, they put that on you. Like, hey, you can, right now, you can just play hair, Let me give you another one. Protectionism. Protectionism is really important to talk about on this chapter. I used to skip through this, but guess what? Now we're in a situation where you have a president who's actually using this. And what that means is he's protecting your job, Linda. He really wants you to keep your job, because what he does not want is United to get a virtual person in Guatemala and do your job for 1/7 of the price. At that moment, you'll be out. So outsourcing, actually offshoring is the word, because offshoring means out of and that's the next one right here, I think. I'll get back to that. But yes, the problem is that how do you protect those? How do you protect these companies from coming in and taking over jobs? Tariffs is a good idea. Sometimes it's being used. That means you levy a tax over imports. So a Japanese product may be more expensive than an American product. So the way people buy American, right? Quotas. Right. Quotas is a way of saying, look, Japan, you can only send 20,000 cars, not 1 million. That's a quota, right? And then you even have a plane embargo. I'll go even to the embargo. What's an embargo? Who do you think is a country that has an embargo right now?
Like a total ban of,
Of anything.
having certain item in the country.
Which one is it? What's a good country?
Huh.
It's in the Caribbean. Here all the time. Can't smoke their cigars.
Is it Cuba?
Exactly. And we embargoed it. We embargoed every one of their products. So hey, Syria, do we have that, Dominique? I don't know. You may be right. We may have a embargo with Cuba. Is definitely right, Jackie. And yeah, everybody else said Cuba. So by the way, a beautiful country. I hear that we should definitely visit it before we lift the embargo, which I don't know anymore if we are. Obama era, I think we were, but all right. So let's keep going. All right. Something else I want to kind of explain to you guys is the World Bank and the IMF, international cooperative of 188 members. The World Bank just takes members from all over the world, each of the countries, all the countries, 188, and just creates a fund for it to help the poor. So the entire world gets together, and if there was some poverty issue, like right now there's a lot of rains in Peru, they will help with that. Okay, it's just put funds together. The IMF is an organization of 188 member nations that promotes economic cooperation. So the IMF just is the same thing as the World Bank, but they get together not for charity. They do it for maybe lending money to a country to get its stuff together. Like in this case, yeah, Syria will be a great example to be like, hey, here's cheap money for you to lend and just go ahead and create a better economy. So that's what the IMF could do. NAFTA. I do want to quiz guys on NAFTA. You guys may have great questions. Who do you think is the members of NAFTA?
United States, Mexico, and Canada.
Exactly. This is a very powerful group, guys. This really is NAFTA. Believe it or not, Mexico is one of the best Latin American countries as far as any production. Not just that, but you name it, they have it. They have great beaches. People think of Mexico as like a lower, compared to the United States, any country is pretty low, okay? Mexico is just one of the best of Latin America. And then you have Canada on the side, which produces just about everything, just as good as all those two. Those three together probably do as well as Europe altogether. Probably do as well. Especially now that UK, the Brits are leaving, definitely NAFTA is very solid. However, now there's talks about getting rid of NAFTA, and people don't know why. And it's just part of why you think, let me tell you, when I went to Monterrey in Mexico, I landed there and I saw so many factories in Monterrey. And I looked and I was like, Kia, I thought that was in Alabama. Man, I realized 10% of the cars of Kia get made in Alabama. The other 90% is in Monterrey, Mexico. So it's like, this is the reason that Alabama is just to say, we hire Americans, 10% of it. And then the other thing, they go to cheaper labor. So some people don't agree with NAFTA because of that, because it's just kind of like a phase. At the end of the day, they're just going for lower labor. Okay.
Right.
To let you know, to give you guys perspective, guys, I know this very well, but an attorney makes around $1,500 a month in Mexico. So imagine that an attorney makes $1,500 a month in Mexico, yet the guy that crossed the border and painted that house that's here is probably making about $4,000 a month. So the young people over there have to make a decision. Do I go across the border and illegally paint the house, or do I go to law school here? You see, and it pays way more to be over there. So in some ways, you guys have to think economics. Okay, these things are happening not because they want to, it's because it's just price. It's absolute price, right? So low labor costs, higher profits. I don't know, Jackie. It depends. That phrase, lower labor costs, higher profits, may or may not. Sometimes when it's too low of a labor and there's not enough regulation, it may cause more issues than it's worth. But that phrase, yeah, most people will say, of course. People say USA, Canada, Mexico. That's right. When we went to the rodeo, a lot of Canadians, a lot of Mexicans, rodeo people. And I was like, the rodeo is a very NAFTA kind of culture because it's North America only. So, all right, guys, you guys continue with that. That was chapter 3. Let's get to chapter 4. We're definitely trying to hit 3 chapters today. If you guys are wondering why we're hitting so many chapters, it's because it's an 8-week course. What did you guys expect, right? But that means I can't go into depth into everything. I do need you guys to realize that for the midterm, you do have to kind of study a lot of this. I'm going to kind of give you a test review for the midterm, because I know you guys will be lost otherwise. And the midterm review will be in this way, how we're doing it, Linda, sorry. Let's see. Ethics, universal ethical standards, and business ethics. Now we're talking ethics. What do you know about ethics, Linda?
Basically, ethics refer to a standard of living where everybody, to be able to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong.
Okay. And I'll tell you this, that's usually, hopefully you'll remember Professor Puente on this one, because I have an ethics class that I'm going to for my doctoral class. And I challenge people on their thought on ethics. I really do. Because yes, people believe it is what's right and what's wrong. But actually, I think ethics goes towards what should be right and what should be wrong. In other words, in TSA, what should be right and what should be wrong. Do you see the difference between what is right and what is wrong? Right?
Yeah, it's not dependent on the individual. It's a set of beliefs. It's
exactly.
Not perspective.
It's not perspective. Exactly. So you're like, you know what? What should be right is that everybody equally gets searched, but you can't search everybody, right? So therefore, you come up with what should be right, what should be wrong. If you start to say what is right, then people are gonna say, "Whoa, hold on, who are you? like, why are you dictating the morality? What is right and what is wrong is morality. Is the definition of morality. Right. So and morals come from within. Now you could get your morals from a religious institution, from patriotism. However, those are still values for yourself. What should be right should be wrong. Ethics is used for professionalism. So you have your own ethics guidelines for TSA, your own ethics guidelines for United. I have my own for Lone Star College, meaning that I should probably start on time, right? What is right? You should definitely give people good information, and that's ethics. So this is important for you guys to realize. The book says set of beliefs about, which is the word should again, so about right and wrong and good and bad. Again, I have a tough time with the word good and bad, because what's good and bad? For a person, let's say a UT graduate winning a national championship is good, but for the A&M it will be bad. So it just depends on how you're looking at it. That's why right and wrong I'm okay with. Good and bad, I'm like, depends on you, right? Universal ethical standards, ethicals that apply to all people across the board on spectrums. I believe that's more like the right to live. Okay, that's a universal standard. If you go in the globe, people will say people have a right to live. Now, that's not everybody. There's still some issues about that. But that's just the way we see it. So it's kind of universal. Okay. Business ethics, applications of right and wrong, good and bad in a business setting. Okay. That's what you guys are going to be dealing with. This class is more about that. What should be right, what should be wrong in a business setting. We know that coming to work late should not be right. We know that. Why? Because it just makes sense. If you just put it together, coming to work late and they're paying you to get there, it's like robbery, right? So in that sense, that's why you guys have to understand what the book is saying, what should be right and what should be wrong. Legal ethical matrix, no, not that one. We're not gonna talk about that one too much. Universal ethical standards, trustworthiness, be honest, don't deceive, cheat, or steal, do what you say, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. I will definitely look into that for quiz, guys. Let me ask you a question, Linda. Do you think lying is always wrong? That's a funny question, right?
It is.
It's always
wrong. Is, but like we already mentioned, it could be based on what the situation is. Circumstantial lying.
Yeah.
Some people lie.
Some people are saying yes.
Based on the circumstance they find themselves in. and they will not feel guilty for doing so because they feel like it is what they had to do. So I cannot say
always. You won't say the word always.
I will say always, but
lying is
based on the background of the individual. Like, for instance, a person who is very religious, who grew up living their life thinking, based solely on what the scriptures say, will outrightly say lying is always wrong. Which they can say that and speak for themselves. I will basically say that, but somebody on the other hand will say, well, it depends on the situation. So on a general note, is more of a perspective thing, I would say.
Wow. Well, what you're saying and the class is saying is so funny. People now are discussing it very well. Some are saying depends, and some people are just straight up saying always, just capital always
I see it.
right? That we got a nice conversation going there. But the truth is that, believe it or not, in the United States, lying is very looked down upon. In Korea, you want to keep face over honesty. And what does that mean? You don't tell that woman she's fat. You lie to her. Okay? That's what Korea means. You lie to her because you want to keep her dignity. So you see, each culture has their way. Okay?
Right. That was what I was talking about, the backgrounds and how, an individual is raised may alter your outlook on what is wrong and what is right when it comes to lies.
Believe it or not, some people will say, oh, being too honest means you also could be just wrong. So people that are honest and like just say their opinions and they have no back, they're not truthful. They're honest. They're just saying it, but they could be wrong. You see what I mean? So just being too honest gets you to untruthfulness sometimes. So yes, sometimes that matters. Always you want to try to be honest, but in my suggestion, you're right, I'll go with depends. But other people would say something else. I don't know. I think intention is important. Intention is really, really important. Like, what's your intention? Are you trying to be honest with somebody to kind of get to their skin? Hey, I got to be honest with you, or are you trying to help them?
Right.
Intention. So that's really, but that's good because that part in itself wasn't part of your quizzes, guys. But somebody's gonna give me a question about lying. No, that was not part of it, but it was a good discussion. Okay. Jackie just put some funny icons there, but okay. Code of ethics. You know who has a code of ethics, Linda? Are you there? Hello? I think we might have lost Linda. Hello? Am I still out there, guys? I guess not. We'll call Linda back. I apologize for that. Okay, you guys are still there. Let me call her back and we'll talk about code of ethics. Oh no, we lost Linda. Linda, listen. Listen, Linda, listen. Hey, that's funny, Jennifer. You gotta post that video sometimes. Okay, let's see. Oh, we can't get a hold of her. Maybe she'll get us right back. But let me keep going then. Code of ethics, guys. Believe it or not, you see that in organizations, especially like the Boy Scouts, is how to act, how to absolutely act. There's a code of ethics for BYU, Brigham Young University, and believe it or not, it goes deep on what their students can and cannot do. And one of them is they can't even drink tea or coffee. So they have their own code of ethics. Up front, they tell the students, hey, this is part of the rules. I know you may or may not agree with it, but if you follow them ahead of time, they will be okay. So that's part of it. It has to do a lot. But yeah, doctors have their own code of ethics. Absolutely. Professors have their own ethics, the code of ethics. Lawyers, absolutely. You can keep going, Jackie. I guess we have all types. Let me see if I can get a hold of Linda. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. I think her connection must have been dropped. Okay, so then let's keep going, guys. A whistleblower. A whistleblower is a person who is an employee who reports their employer's illegal or unethical behavior. I'll tell you, this happened majorly with Enron. And that is a big word in Houston because when it happened, it took the carpet out of the whole city. A whistleblower is someone that stated that Enron was doing illegal activity and it was someone working there. And because they call them whistleblowers, people don't know if this is a positive or a negative connotation. But it's really important, guys. If you see something happening that you know is not right and could affect, and the word right, again, it's going back to what should be right or what should be wrong. And if you're an accountant and you see fraud, there's codes of ethics for those accountants. Therefore, you should definitely turn it in because that's what you're supposed to do there. If you don't have a code of ethics of a professional entity, then you start to see issues, right? Enron was huge. That's right. I didn't even know that. Exactly. That was a big thing about it. The word stakeholders, this is part of your quiz. I'd like for someone to come up with that. Stakeholder is anyone that has any sort of stake on a product, a company. In this case, we are stakeholders of United, believe it or not. And the reason why is because I travel United. You guys travel United. Linda is a stakeholder in United because she works there. Some people could be stakeholders in United because of something else. Anything that has to do with it. We're mostly connected to United because of the city, and it's our airline here. That's a stakeholder, and it comes from all the other sections. So it's part of the test, the quiz. So we'll put that there. Let's see what else. Let's see. I'll give you another word: corporate responsibility, business contributions to the community through the actions of the business itself. Corporate responsibility just means, hey guys, it's not just about the profit. It's also about doing what should be right and what should be wrong. So if you're ExxonMobil, please don't put oil in our waters because that will be corporate irresponsible. Yes, you could do it. However, the whole world loses out. That's why you have to go back to win-win, guys. I don't know if you understand that. Win-win. Win-win is a concept that makes business beautiful. And that means that your side works and their side works as well. Win-lose just means you win today, but one day you're going to end up losing. So that's corporate responsibility. ExxonMobil, you can win today by putting that oil there, but it may not end up being right at the end for everybody. Hey, Linda, we lost you a little bit.
I got disconnected. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
It's okay. Video's a little cut off, but hey, we're going to take it. It looks like you're very, very far away, but it's okay. Let's keep going. Some people are saying true, report ethical things. You could be a stakeholder where you work. Yes, Jackie. Just about everybody's a stakeholder. Like I'm a stakeholder of Lone Star College because I teach there. You guys are stakeholders because you're students there. Okay. Maybe the chancellor ahead is a stakeholder because he's the chancellor of the whole thing. So just about everybody's a stakeholder. That is very true. Let's see what else we can finish this part. No, I think we're pretty much it. What should we quiz about? Ethics, yes, universal ethics, business ethics, code of ethics, whistleblowers. I talked about corporate responsibility. And one more thing, guys, Sarbanes-Oxley Act. That's actually Enron. You can actually go back on that. And that is an accounting principle, accounting act that states that, CFOs and CEOs are responsible to report things correctly. Okay, when Enron, and you guys can kind of fact check me on that, when Enron went down, Sarbanes-Oxley created this huge setup where accounting practices are very, very tight. Do you know any accountants, Linda? Oh, I think we lost Linda again. That is unfortunate, but it's okay. I think we'll just finish without her, but thank you so much, Linda, for really trying. You can continue with us. Someone tell Linda she can just go to the link on YouTube and she could just watch me talk through the last one, please. And we'll go from there. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put my video up. And here we go. Here I am, guys. You can now see me speaking. Okay, last chapter, guys. We can get through this one. Today, this is going to be about business communication. Some of you guys have a communication associates that you're working on. Very good. This is all about dealing with emails, dealing with messages, etc. Okay. In fact, I will just cut this off just so we can. And again, Linda, you could just come onto the link directly. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for telling her. So I'm just going to cut this one off so I can kind of just save the internet. Force quit. Okay, and noise. I'll tell you something. Well, first of all, let's talk about communication. Communication is transmission of information between a sender and a recipient. So you need someone to be on the other side if you're going to send. And if you're going to be the recipient, you need someone to give you something. Okay, that's communication. Communication is really, really important. You want to make a business, that is the #1 thing. In fact, if you want to know the truth, I feel like my classes have very good communication skills. Look, thank you, Jennifer, for putting that link up for Linda, because of how we work. We use WhatsApp for communication, yes, but it's very informal. We're going to talk about that. WhatsApp is an informal way of communication. In the digital class, that would be the classroom. The classroom does not mean, please don't think that. The classroom does not mean that, you could submit questions, you could submit answers through that. No, that's formal. Formal is D2L. D2L is the prime mode of communication because it's how we run the class. WhatsApp is just an informal, being in the classroom, saying, hi, professor. That's it. You're going to turn in an assignment, it's going to be D2L. Those who are not participating in WhatsApp, I'll tell you, it's okay. You don't have to. The reason we use it is just for us to communicate, to make classes for you. But you don't have to, please. Even those people on WhatsApp, please tell everybody I've been saying it. You don't have to. It's just for those who want to kind of get into the communication. All right? We want to talk about noise. Interference that causes misinterpretation of information. Anything that has to do, noise is not just what you hear in the background. It could be, hey, WhatsApp is down and we don't have the communication quickly like we used to. So we're using D2L. And then D2L is down. That's noise. Okay, we have interference. Communication barriers, yes, obstacles. So maybe things like the internet being down. That would be an obstacle, right? Types of communication barriers: physical, perceptual, language, organizational, body language, and cultural. Sometimes you may tell something to someone and they may not even get it culturally. Let me give you a good example. Love, the word love, it's not amor in Spanish. People think it is, but it really isn't. Amor in Spanish is reserved for, believe it or not, romantic love, for husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, so you really don't say much, yo amo a mis niños. You don't say that. You don't love your kids that way. You just say yo quiero. You care for your kids. You see how that culturally that's different? That communication. So when you start to say the word love and you throw it around in Latin America, they look at you, whoa, what are you talking about your kids like that? You see, that's all a barrier communication. That's why you're learning in this course. Communication is not just simple. It has to do with language, has to do with cultural. It may be perceptual. Hey, you want to talk to, pro-Republican people about democratic values, it's going to be tough. And then body language. Why did I put this video here for you guys to see me? Because I want you to read my body language. Okay, it's important for me to do that. So let's go to the people. Let's see what they say. I'm trying to. Sorry, guys. Don't worry, Linda. We got you. Just you can kind of follow us along. You try your best. Thank you so much. Whoa, didn't know. Cool. Oh, a Spanish lesson. Yes, absolutely. And there's other words like that, like that are not the same. Birthday and cumpleaños are another thing that's not the same. It just kind of sounds like it. Like what happened to me. My internet connection is an obstacle in my communication. Yes, Linda. You came from being a guest lecturer to part of the class. So yes, that was an obstacle. We made it happen. We made it work. So let's see what nonverbal communication. It's really important for you guys to know. Gestures and posture. So when you speak to someone and you're kind of up, very good. Eye contact. When you look at people, you look at them in the eye. You look at them too close, it gets weird. So hey, be careful. Tone of voice. How you say things. If you speak like this forever and ever, it's just going to get really boring, right? So active listening. Attentive listening that occurs when the listener focuses his or her complete attention on the speaker. This is very hard to do, guys. Sometimes you guys could do it. Sometimes you cannot. Okay. But I'll tell you this. Once you get this thing about listening, if you can actually pick up the words and listen, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay. Tip for better listening, do's and don'ts. Could read through that, but we won't quiz as much. Okay. Ways in which message is sent, understanding the impact of each channel. Let's see what else can I quiz on here. Wait a second. All right. I believe the truth is in the eyes. Eye contact is big for me. All right, Kim. Yeah, maybe true. That's maybe true. That's why I'm glad I could participate in these live classes. Yeah. My nonverbal communication is terrible. I suck at eye contact. It's so funny. Kim is saying, look at this. Kim is saying eye contact is big for me. And it's the truth. And Brianna says, my eye contact is horrible. So you can see what values are. Believe it or not, Brianna, to me, I'm not big on eye contact. I'm big on content. I'm kind of listening to you. So when you say something, so it just depends. It really depends on values. Use an active voice and avoid using passive voice. An active voice, subject performs the action expressed by the verb. Hey, Johnny went to play soccer. Passive voice, subject does not do the action expressed by the verb. Rather, the subject is acted upon. So the ball is being hit by Johnny. So they're saying just stop trying to go passive, go active, because it's much easier. Be clearer. In business, we're all about being clear. Believe it or not, I have a lawyer buddy. In law, it's not. In law, it's very important for you to use these specific words that kind of seem like you don't really understand them, but you use them. In business, put that aside. We need the clear words. We need active voice in business. So that's what I'll tell you. It's important for you guys to understand. You pull out the dictionary when you start to read law letters or just anything to do with that. Acts, you start to see that. Use appropriate conversational style. Avoid grammatical errors. Yes. There's something about writing. I'm not big into grammatical errors as long as you get the point across. If it's too bad, then of course on those discussions I'm going to have to. But try to get a good point across to me. It's more important. Use headings and bullets appropriately. Shalita says, I love it. I struggle with that on live videos for my business. Kim, what do you do for live videos on your business? And I love it. Okay, let's see. Preparation before delivering verbal presentations, questions, visual aids. Before you deliver a presentation, you want to have some of these down. Presentations are important because they can get a point across. Hard to kind of do this through any other medium, guys. And suggestions for PowerPoint presentations. Showing works better than telling. When you see a PowerPoint presentation, it kind of annoys me that people put like a paragraph. I didn't ask for an essay. Show me. Yeah. Less is more. Very true. Don't just read your slides out loud. Tell me about them. Yeah. Go easy in the special effects, because if you put anything to do with a video that will distract me, it won't get the point across. Don't let those slides upstage you. If that slide is amazing and you're talking and that part spoke to me more than you, then I probably won't be paying attention. So, but that's it, guys. Let's go towards the key terms here that I love. Communication, you should know. We need questions on that, guys. Questions on noise, communication barriers, intercultural communication. We spoke about that, how some words are not even the same, even they're supposed to be. Active listening, bias. I still want to go to bias, guys. It's really hard not to have bias. We all have our own biases, okay? And we use these biases to make judgments. Judgments make decisions for us, okay? Real simple. When you think of a word, you put a bias towards it. I'll say it. Maybe Dallas Cowboys. I automatically got your biases. You're either really a big fan or you're not, or maybe you just don't care, but you have a bias, okay? That bias you have to fight through to get to the truth, because the truth is outside of you. Maybe you just need to kind of understand what it is. It is one of the top companies in the world, maybe one of the most valuable teams out there. The good and the bad of something, because that's what the truth is. Remember, honesty and truthfulness are not the same thing, right? Boo Cowboys. Right when we said there's the bias. Don't care. All right, guys. Any questions? Any questions you guys have? I feel like only a few of you are commenting. I'm sorry, so sorry, Linda, you didn't get to finish the lecture. You did a wonderful, wonderful job, Linda. Do me a favor. Let me know how many people commented at the end of this, if you don't mind, and I'll talk to you about how we're gonna do the grading for the discussion and these comments, and hopefully these comments are with cowgirls. I second that, Boo Cowboys. But there you go. That was my presentation on biases. You guys have any questions? Is everything clear on what's due tomorrow at noon? 3 questions per chapter. That would be 9 questions from everybody. Make them good. If we choose your question because it's good, and someone in the quiz that takes it and they're like, hey, this question is wrong, we're going to take points off you. So be careful, okay? I think Jackie Hubbard is a Saints fan. I'm just kidding. I knew it was the Saints. I love the live videos interaction we were able to have. Thank you, Amber. I really appreciate it. Of course. And no problem, Jennifer. I'm here for you guys. Thank you. It was fun discussion. I know this. Me too. It's so much fun. Okay, so everything clear. Everything is clear on the quiz. Thank you very much. We're pretty much done. 8:53. Enjoy this. Perfect. Let me tell you, you guys, if you submit those questions, you don't have to at all take the quiz. Some people like to take quizzes. Some people like to make quizzes. Just depends. All right. I'll tell you this. You don't have to at all put your discussion of 500 words. All you have to do is put in the phrase on a discussion. I submitted questions and I joined the live discussion, and that's it. All right. And what's wrong with the Saints? No, they're not. They have Johnny Mansell. That's right. Love the lectures. Perfect. I'm happy you like it, Miss Fisher. And that's it. That's all for tonight. You guys have a good night. And if you have any questions, next week we'll do this on Tuesday, not Monday, so the Tuesday people can show up. And that's it. I'll let you guys know. Let me know who wants to volunteer to be a guest lecturer next week. Thank you so much.